I would be crazy when she wasn't here, and oh my god, I hate admitting this right now. I even hate verbally speaking it. I've never actually said all of these things out loud before, but I'm gonna keep going because someone else out there feels this way, and they need to hear this. Hello everyone, it's Sageism, but you can call me Sage, and nearly 3 years later, this video is still tougher than I expected it to be. Obviously, this video is about my toxic relationship experience, and I was the toxic one. I remember at the time going through all those emotions, and I would do my best to try to find YouTube videos or blogs, just something to help me figure out how to stop being this crazy person. And it was so tough because I felt lost and I was scared because I couldn't find anything to help me, and it just made me feel so alone. There was no one else going through what I was going through. So I am making this video today for someone else out there who is looking for help, who is looking for these videos on YouTube and can't find anything, that went through that experience of being the bad one, the toxic one in a relationship. Let me give you a little backstory. I started dating back in 2017, and at the time I thought I was in a good mental space. Like, I was in a dance group with some friends singing, and there were plenty of things that I was doing on my own, and when the opportunity to have a partner arose, I thought I was more than ready for it. And it quickly became evident that that was not the case.
I'll be fine.
I want to preface this with saying that I do have a chameleon type personality. When I'm around other people, I naturally just tend to match their energy or even mimic some of their behaviors. A lot of times it's not even intentional, and you can examine those traits in my natal chart in astrology and certain things you experience as a child. You're more prone to have this personality because this is how you adapt to your environment. A lot of times people who have a chameleon type personality are going to be very prone to being in codependent relationships. I thought my sense of self was strong at the time, but looking back, I can definitely see how it wasn't. And my partner was the opposite. She had a very strong personality. She was very outgoing. She was very sure of what she liked, what she disliked, and I think that began to reflect a lot of things about myself that I didn't like, and it made it that much easier for me to stop maintaining my identity and to just go with whatever she wanted to do. The things that she brought up within me, I didn't know how to process them. And the fact that she was just reflecting me to myself, and I really began to hate the person that I was. Now, I believe that all relationships that we have, romantic, platonic, are karmic in some way. They are here to help us grow or to teach us something. But this relationship in particular, it was definitely dark night of the soul material. So at this point, we're a few months in. It's not like peak toxicity yet, but it's getting to the point where I'm so absorbed into us as my identity that being away from her became really hard. In that time that she wasn't with me, it's like I didn't know what to do with myself, and it would make me feel lonely, and it would upset me, and I would be crazy when she wasn't here, and oh my god, I hate admitting this right now. I even hate verbally speaking it. I've never actually said all of these things out loud before, but I'm gonna keep going because someone else out there feels this way, and they need to hear this. I would get jealous whenever she hung out with other people because in my head, hanging out with her and only her was enough for me, so why couldn't she feel that way? Like, was I not enough for her? I was essentially trying to make my existence be the only thing that she needed, and that was not okay.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Then a couple months later, I ended up moving to her home state. And I'm trying to keep this as short as possible because this could literally be like a 4-hour long video of me talking about this relationship. But when I moved to her home state at this point, I guess we were together maybe like 6 months. We definitely U-hauled the whole relationship, which should have been a big red flag in the beginning, but we're already fighting a lot at this point. And me, as you can probably predict, moving to a whole nother state where I didn't really have any friends, my family wasn't there, it just made everything that much worse. I started to depend on her even more. At this point, not only is she my romantic partner, but she is also my sole sense of friendship. And I'm better now. I used to struggle a lot with social anxiety, and so making friends in a whole nother place was damn near out of the question for me. At this point, I literally felt like Jekyll and Hyde. Like, there were times where I felt like I had no control over my emotional reactions of how we used to fight. My thought process was all over the place. It was very self-deprecating. It felt like some shadow monster version of me was driving my body, the vehicle that I'm in, and I'm just watching from the passenger seat, knowing that this is not okay, but I can't do anything about it. Of course, she wasn't perfect. There were things that she did that contributed to the downfall and the toxicity of this relationship, but I do believe that a majority of the issues that we were having came or stemmed from the fact that I needed to work on myself, and I didn't know where to start with that. It wasn't until she finally pulled the plug, because I wasn't strong enough to do it. I was terrified of being alone, and so I would have rather much tried to stay in that toxic relationship than improve myself. So thankfully, she was strong enough for the both of us and said, this isn't working. And that was when I was finally able to pull it together and really start to do the shadow work and self-development that I needed. I struggled with the after effects of that relationship for a long time. Like, the first year, I was absolutely terrified of becoming that person that I was. And even through meditation and journaling, in the back of my head, it almost felt like that person that I didn't want to be was just in hibernation, and that they could come out at any time when I get into another relationship. When I got with my next partner, maybe it was about 6 months later, and I do regret getting into a relationship that quickly. I definitely needed more time to sort myself out, but I did have that immense fear still when I started dating someone new, and fortunately for me, they were extremely patient and gave me the space that I needed to really learn how to trust again and to show me how love should be. Now I'm no longer scared of myself like that anymore. Obviously, there are going to be moments where, you won't always be able to control your response, but it's nowhere near how I used to be. Now that we've gone through my backstory, I just want to lay out a few tips that I wish I would have heard or someone could have told me to help me get through that time. So number one, you're probably not going to want to hear this, but this is just my truth, and that is 98% of the time when you're the toxic person in a relationship, you need to take a break from that said relationship. You need to take time on your own to work on yourself. You need to sort out where these emotional responses are coming from and why you so heavily rely on your partner. For instance, my issue, I didn't love myself enough, and that manifested in me not feeling like I was pretty enough, not feeling like I was cool enough, not feeling like friends that I would make in the future wouldn't like me as much as my partner. All of that stems from self-love, and I wasn't able to fix those components in my relationship until I learned to love myself more. And I don't think I could have did that while I was still in that relationship, because
Because you've already mentally fixated yourself on receiving all of that energy and love from someone else, it's very hard to shift that focus onto yourself and maintain it while under the stress of dealing with whatever else you have to work through.
Okay, 2, you need to have a good support system, whether that's you joining a community, whether that's you leaning more on your friends and family, or even just if you have the money, go see a therapist. You need to have someone else that you can rely on besides your partner. When you're in a toxic relationship, you feel like you need to have that other person, or that other person completes you in some way. And having a support system outside of your partner is going to help reaffirm that that's not true. Number 3, to me, this is like the biggest one, maybe with number 2. Actually, no, they're all important. You're going to need to affirm, meditate, and journal. With affirmations, the trick is not just saying the opposite of how you feel, but also making sure it's something that you believe.
Somebody lied to her several times and told her that she was fly, hot, and sexy and beautiful, and she's nothing like that. She's nothing of the sort.
So let's say you're constantly telling yourself, no one likes you. Your first reaction that's the opposite of that will probably be like, everyone likes me. Obviously, that's probably not going to be that believable to you. So maybe instead of saying everyone likes me, you can say, I attract people who like me for me. My personality is good enough. I have qualities that are likable. Figure out in some way how to make that statement more believable for you. And if you can't believe any of it, then I would recommend recording yourself saying those things and then falling to sleep to those affirmations. That way, your ego can't consciously reject those things and you're still absorbing that affirmation. And then with meditating, it's important because it's going to help you separate yourself from your thoughts. You don't have to identify with those self-deprecating negative thoughts. If you learn to see them as separate from you, or even imagine there's someone hating on you in your brain, you learn that it's not you, and it's freeing. So I highly recommend meditating. Third one, for journaling, it's important to get all those thoughts on paper. Just like when you talk to a therapist and you're able to sort out your thoughts, writing it down on paper acts in the same way. Those 3 things I highly recommend. And lastly, I just want to say that, again, you're not alone and you are not crazy. You are not a monster. There's nothing wrong with you, okay? You're human. And there are certain things, certain traumas that you've built up over your life that tend to manifest when you're in a relationship. It's hard and it's tough to deal with, but you're not crazy. And you can do it. You can sort through it. All of this, don't give in to it. Don't identify this percent of your life as who you are. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is constantly shifting. So if you think about it logically, it's damn near impossible for you to stay the exact same person your whole life. Everything vibrates and shifts. Law of vibration, all that good jazz, okay? Hopefully this video wasn't too much rambling and that it helps. I really hope it does. I wish that I would have came across any kind of video that would have helped me when I was going through that period in my life. If this helps you, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If there's any questions that you have, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to talk about this with anyone who needs help. And I know this video was kind of serious, huh? I guess because I'm reflecting on that person, and it's crazy going through that. I couldn't imagine getting better. Like, I literally could not see myself being better, and now looking back, I don't even know who that person is.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
I'm just proud that I could say that. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any video suggestions, let me know, and as always, I will see you in the next video. See ya.